Going to record. All right. Let's go live on Facebook. All right. Okay. Today's topic came about because I'm going to an event this afternoon for Ambassadors for Peace with the Universal Peace Federation. And I'm going to speak briefly on the topic of getting to agreement. So I thought I would put some of that in for today. We're going to go through some things which, well, like I just put, that getting to harmony is easier than you might think. Using the one rule, like being dedicated firmly to using the one rule, which also because I guess I'm very into guidelines, I was just thinking about that not to beat up on yourself mentally and therefore emotionally if you don't follow the rule. But following the rule is going to be so enjoyable that chances are you're not going to have a problem with not following the rule. Okay, so I'm going to start screen share. Okay, let's close that down. And we'll start with this. This slideshow is the third lesson in my latest course. I made this into a video that said there are several videos in the course, and this is one of them, and I'm going to share this with you today. Okay. The one rule: start strong. You've decided that you want to have a harmonious relationship with your child. That sounds good, right? You've decided that you do not want to make your child do what they do not want to do, and you do not want to do what you do not want to do, and you are going to make this work. You've decided that you want to use the one rule to make this happen. This is going to become your new habit. You remember that when you use the one rule, you are sharing the following messages with your kids. I want us all to be happy. We are each important. Together we could solve our problems. I believe in you. I love you. What works for me? To create this new habit, you're going to start with yourself and what you want. You decide that you are going to let how you feel about a situation determine whether you agree with it or not. If it feels good, then you can agree with it. If not, you cannot. When you're looking at situations, you can do it in your mind. You can write them out and even journal on them. You can approach each situation as it comes up and work your way through it. You can do any or all of these for any or all situations. You choose what works best for you. You look at situations with kids one by one and decide, is this situation okay with me just as it is? If yes, good. Go on to another one. If no, what would have to change, be different so that I could feel good about this? Maybe several versions of this situation would feel fine with you, maybe only one. This is your first practice as you create this new habit, following the one rule. This is a good practice no matter what age your kids are. It helps ensure a strong start and makes following the one rule so much easier. In fact, it's completely essential if you're going to follow the one rule, because everybody involved has to agree to whatever the solution is, or let's say solution. And if you don't know what you like, what you want, oh, not only that, you're going to agree, and everybody is going to agree because they really like that solution. It may not be the solution that they came up with originally or what they thought they wanted, but they're delighted. They're very pleased. They're really happy with the solution. And children find this really easy. And I'm sure some adults do too, because a couple of people I've coached have gotten into it right away, with kids ranging from 30 to 3. So, okay, let's go on to the next one. Let's check this one out. Make harmony your foundation. All right. This was from one of the original shows, the 11th episode, when everybody was homeschooling. And today, more people are. Make harmony your foundation. Okay, I'm going to go through this, I think, even though, okay, during the first part of this 1-hour show, I share tips and strategies that create harmony with kids. That's what I'm doing now. Then we open things up for Q&A and discussion. That's when there are guests. When I talk about harmony with kids, I often bring up the one rule, which is what I'm doing. I've also called it the agreement method. That might be a little clearer. In any case, this is what it means. In any situation where there are differences that might lead to conflict between you and your kids, the one rule is applied. I'm going to have to say something here because it was pointed out to me that this is also, using the one rule is also helpful if you are making any kind of planning. If you're using the one rule with yourself, it can be a planning inside, between different choices. If you're using it with other people, then you find agreement. This is the rule. You do not move forward until there is agreement. It is the rule. I'm going to get some water. When you follow it, you find harmony. And this is what makes getting to harmony so quick and easy. Here, there is a rule. If you follow it, you find harmony. It's just what it is. I mean, there's no other requirements. You don't have to know how to do things, what to do. You don't have to have certain beliefs. You don't have to have certain thoughts. You just follow this rule and you find harmony. You discover what needs to shift so that everyone involved feels good about the situation. It has never failed me when I've used it. There are little shifts that people can make, or some big ones. I mean, one example of what's now the one rule, when I was working with children, there were two little boys and there was only one trike that wasn't being used. They both wanted to use it. And one little boy came up with an idea. He told the other little boy that if he got the first turn with the trike, he would let this other little boy hold the toy that he brought for show and tell. And the other little boy was just like, wow. It was like he was wowed by that idea. It was an idea he thought of. I didn't think of it, but the other little boy did. And it was perfect for both of them. One got the first turn on the trike, which he really wanted. And the other got to hold a toy, which he really wanted to do. So that's what I mean when there are shifts that need to be made. Ideas come out that weren't there originally, but they come because when you're in harmony, when you find this agreement, when you find this good feeling place of, yeah, that works for me, like that little boy and the toy. In fact, he liked it even better than having the first turn on the trike. So it's like that. It's just amazing the things that come out when you make the one rule a rule that you follow. Okay. Even though I had not isolated it and named it, it was very much a part of raising my children and doing my work as a Montessori teacher in our Montessori school and my work in public schools. This week, I'm going to share how to make harmony your foundation as a homeschooling parent. I guess I didn't need water as much as I thought. Okay. As I mentioned last week, one of the most important starting points is getting into a good frame of mind yourself. Last week, I gave some tips for doing this. You can watch the show on YouTube. Another thing to keep in mind is, what do your kids find interesting? Do they prefer to be inside or outside? Do they like to be quiet or noisy? Do they prefer to be alone or with lots of other people or with a friend or two? Do they prefer reading or writing, math, science, singing, or playing a musical instrument? Helping you with your work or helping their father with his? Riding a bicycle or dancing, playing sports or video games? Why is it good for your kids to do what interests them? One primary reason is that their interest is a key to helping them become the best versions of themselves that they can become. When we do what interests us, we are very engaged and focused. Think about doing something that interests you. When we are engaged and focused, what we do and produce tends to be of much better quality than if we were not interested. Interest helps result in excellence. An even more important result of being engaged and focused is that our whole being is involved in what interests us. That is why we are engaged and focused. We are experiencing harmony. That is a good reason to allow and encourage our kids to do what they are interested in doing. I've observed children doing what really interests them, and they become peaceful, harmonious people, even if they were not before. Now, it does not mean that everything that interests our kids is going to always interest them. They may be interested for their lifetime, or only 10 days or even 10 minutes. The point is following their interests, not the specific experience that interests them or the length of time it interests them. So please help your kids follow their interests. If they need your help, if they ask for your help, please help them. If for some reason you really do not want to do what they're asking you to do, now is a perfect time to use the one rule. You can say, I really do not want to do that, so we're going to use the one rule to solve our problem. Here's the one rule. For us both to be happy, to feel good, we have to find what we can agree to, because we are each important. We each deserve to feel good. There is a way to find agreement. You don't have to believe these three statements to be able to use the one rule. But as you use the one rule, you discover that they are built into it. I know just finding agreement sounds too simple. It is simple, and it works. That means it helps you find harmony with kids. It restricts you. Finding harmony becomes your only option. This is how I raised my kids once I decided never to force them to do what they did not want to do. Once I decided to help them follow their interests. This was also how I treated the kids I worked with. Besides helping you and your kids find harmonious solutions to your differences, whether it concerns following their interests or other situations, the one rule can also help create harmony between siblings. A common source of conflict is two kids wanting the same thing at the same time. Let's say you notice a situation like that. Voices are starting to rise. Before it gets more into conflict, you go up to them and ask, does anyone want some help? Usually one or the other or both start explaining their side of the story. Okay, so explain what you understand about what they just said. If you got it right, they'll tell you. If you got something wrong, they'll tell you. So let's figure out how we can solve this so you can both feel good. Let's find something you both agree on. Because you're both important, pointing to each, you are important and you are important, and you both deserve to feel good. So we'll find a way that works for both of you. You've done several important things here. Interrupted the movement toward conflict, reduced the negative energy by encouraging them to explain what they want help with, shifted the goal from getting what they wanted to finding a solution that they both agree to, started 3 people, you two, thinking of harmonious solutions. There's bound to be some solution that they'll both agree to. That has been my experience. There could be many, but there is at least one point of harmony in any situation. Kids tend to find harmony quickly. Be sure to stay with them until agreement is found. The idea is to help them gain the skills necessary to be able to solve situations like this on their own. When you make the one rule a common way to interact with your kids and help your kids use the one rule to find their own solutions, you have done a lot toward making harmony the foundation of your family. Helping your kids follow their interests then comes easy and natural. Okay, thanks for being here. Now, let's go to the next slideshow. I'll have to look at this later. Okay, this was an earlier episode. Episode 5. It was still during the homeschooling time. Hey, parents, more peace and time for you. Okay, let's go. Nice. I'm saying nice because I like how this is working. Welcome to Karen Ryce's Family Zoom Station. During the first part of the show, we share the solutions we've offered. Then we open things up for Q&A and discussion. There were lots of guests during the time on the early shows. Last week, and then they they all learned it. And so now, I guess, reach out to more people. Last week, it was suggested that we address the topic of homeschooling, especially since almost every parent is a homeschooling parent these days. It was also suggested that I share ways to ease some of the problems that have come up because of this situation. These problems include stress because of the unusual situation, you and your family having to stay home together, no school, no jobs, and overwhelm because you're all home all day. Maybe you get to work from home. In any case, you have even more to do and no longer have time or energy to do what you need and want to do. So today I'm going to share a few simple strategies with you so that you can ease your stress, reduce your overwhelm. This, of course, I'm sharing because even though it's not the same kind of situation from those days, it can still help in those ways. After that, our guest speaker, Bard Allen, is going to share some of her experiences with 26 years of unschooling, a version of homeschooling. Just hearing about this educational option could free you from any guilt you may have been feeling if you believe you should be doing more, or any worry that you are not doing a good enough job as their teacher. Instead of stress, you'll feel calm. Instead of overwhelmed, guilty, or worried, you'll feel a sense of ease. I'm going to share tools, skills, and strategies I used as a parent and teacher, and some new ones I've discovered and created for my personal well-being. If you are feeling stress, it is most likely you are going to want to be able to ease your stress right in the middle of stressful situations. Yeah, that's true. Okay, I do need some water here. It helps if you can become aware of increasing stress as you start to feel it. It's kind of like something I used to call my cue. I wrote about it in my first book and in my basic trainings. This was what I felt before I got upset. It is a similar process with stress. I'm sure you can see that it is much easier to change your direction before there is a lot of momentum pushing you in the direction you're headed in. Pay attention to how you are feeling. Notice changes. Maybe you'll notice a tightness in your neck or shoulders. Maybe you'll notice that you're clenching your jaw or your abdomen, or even holding your breath. This is your cue. Discovering your cue is the first step. You may already be aware of what it is. The next step is doing something about it, something calming. Because you don't have a lot of alone time, it's good to choose something you can do when others are there. The following list comes from my original plan for calm and from more current discoveries. Choose what works for you. Time out. This keeps coming to mind, so let's start with this. It's best if you explain to your family that in order to keep in a good mood, sometimes you are going to have a timeout, and ask them please not to bother you until your timeout is over. Where? As long as everyone is safe, choose your place. If you need to be in the room with others, you might sit in a corner or even just be there listening to something on your earbuds. Music, inspirational, calming. How long? Hopefully as long as you need to get into a good frame of mind. You could decide beforehand and tell everyone. You could set a timer, or you could just tell them you'll stop as soon as you feel good again. During your timeout, do something that is satisfying for you with the intention to feel better. Read for a while, listen to music, play music, sing. Take a shower or bath if you can. Meditate, visualize, work out, dance, call a friend, go work in your shop if you can. Something that makes you feel better. Change your focus. This is another way. Two ways to do this come to mind, but they both result in changing what you are thinking about. In fact, everything in timeout does that too. The reason for this is because what you are thinking about is what is causing the stress. Change those thoughts to something more enjoyable, and you can start to relax. You can do the following wherever you are. Observe something you enjoy, something in nature, your pet, your kids. Think an enjoyable thought, at least a more enjoyable thought from the past, the present, or the future. Just focus on your breathing. Take deep, slow breaths. This is how we breathe when we are calm. My pattern interrupt. This is something that came to me, and this is something I use daily. Choose a positive phrase, word, sentence, mantra. Repeat it silently in your mind. For me, it vanishes when I'm feeling good again. At some point, I realize I'm not repeating it anymore. Although the above strategies are effective at reducing stress and overwhelm, the following strategy can prevent much of your stress and overwhelm from being created, especially when it comes to your kids. Imagine your home, everyone getting along, helping each other. This doesn't mean there are no differences in opinion, values, interests, needs, but you now have the means to harmonious solutions, and each of you know this, practice it, and reap the benefits. The one rule does it all. Knowing and following the one rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. I had already realized and documented that over the years I raised my own children, worked with hundreds of children as head teacher in the Montessori school I co-founded, and in public schools after that. I had used, discovered, and created 108 tools, skills, and strategies. One evening I was thinking, do people actually have to learn and know all of these 108 tools, skills, and strategies to be able to raise happy kids? It seemed so unlikely. Then I asked myself a question. What is the least that people need to know about what I've learned about raising happy kids so they can most quickly and easily raise their own happy kids, or something like that? Simple. During that evening, little by little, it was uncovered in my mind, going deeper and deeper, like digging for buried treasure, until I found it. Wow, that's it. That's all people really need to know. If they know this and use it, it takes care of all the rest. I was amazed. I told one of my coaches, and he came up with 108 parenting lessons and one simple rule. Here is the one rule. To raise happy kids and to be happy yourself, make sure that all involved agree with each decision. I know it sounds too simple. It is simple. But this is how I raised my kids. Once I decided never to force them to do what they did not want to do. This was how I treated the kids I worked with. Why and how the one rule works. Apparently, our brain is hardwired to answer questions. When we are asked a question, or when we ask ourselves a question, our brain immediately begins searching for an answer. If you try that, like ask yourself a question you know the answer to, like, when are the Wilsons having their annual party? Your mind, you'll see it'll go right there. Anyway, the one rule is like asking our brain a question. So it immediately begins searching for an answer. The problem, trouble, or conflict is the source of the question. Or the plan, as I was saying, as it was pointed out to me, we asked two primary questions. How can we find agreement? and what is really important to me in this situation. That's how there is a direct connection to the 108 tools, skills, and strategies that help solve the problem. You may have more or different solutions, but the 108 is what came up in my life. Your foundation is the heart-to-heart bridge. When you use the one rule, you create a heart-to-heart bridge between you and your child. That way you both feel loved at all times. Okay. You can imagine if you both go into any situation knowing that you're gonna find something that feels really good to you, imagine how open and flowing the love is between you. You are loved, but you also feel loved. They are loved, but they also feel loved. No one has to wait until there's some disaster or loss to recognize the love that is there. You and your child get to feel it at all times. Imagine the blissful power of this. Holding space. In my first coaching session on the one rule, I learned another important reason that the one rule works so well in creating harmony between kids and adults, also between kids and kids. When you are determined to be solution-oriented, and the solution must be one all involved agree on, you are holding space for yourself and for your child. I mean, because we're talking about kids, there could be other people. Some people use this with their spouse. Some people think it should be in the workplace. Some people think all kinds of relationships could find peace and harmony. You are not only a model of how to follow the one rule when you hold space for yourself, being determined that your needs get met too, you are helping them learn how to follow the one rule too. One of the most important reasons that the one rule works is that it does not deny anyone. We are each part of the agreement. Okay, thanks for being here. All right. Now, let's see. Why not? Okay. There's a series of 3 stories here. When I had a newspaper column, one question that a mother in the community asked had to do with her child and bedtime, and with the suggestions that I made of possible respectful solutions, there were 3 that I took and turned into stories, examples of harmonious interactions. Back then, the power of respect was my focus. I think the one rule is it is that, but I think the one rule is much clearer and easier to understand and relate to. The whole concept of respect, I thought was pretty clear, but it wasn't totally clear. just like the one rule is totally clear. Everyone involved has to agree, and you only agree to what feels really good to you. So that's pretty clear. Okay, so I thought I will share these with you today. Bedtime and the one rule. At the time I got the question, the one rule hadn't taken form, but it has now. You've had a busy Saturday morning, errands with 4-year-old Cassie. You're looking forward to relaxing a little before you start the laundry. You stretch out on the soft, comfortable couch. Suddenly you remember last night, and the night before that, and the night before that. And maybe now is your chance. Maybe you can use the one rule to solve your problem. You know, you don't want to go through dealing with Cassie stalling at bedtime again. One more story, Mommy, please. Cassie, I already read 3 extra stories. Okay, let's see. Oh, good. I need this. Or, Mommy, I'm thirsty. I want to get a drink of water. After she's already tucked in bed, or even after you think she's asleep. Or, Mommy, please stay until I go to sleep. And you do, and you fall asleep. There goes your evening. Cassie's doing an animal floor puzzle right there in the living room. You decide to do it. Cassie, I'm having a problem and I need your help to solve it. Will you help me now? Okay, Mommy. Cassie, do you remember that I told you I'm taking a class where I'm learning to solve problems so we both get to feel good? I remember. Well, I want us to solve my problem so we both get to feel good about it. Okay, Mommy. Here's my problem, Cassie. When it's time for you to go to bed, I want you to go without asking for more stories or for a drink of water or anything else. When it's your bedtime, I want you to just go to bed. Why? Because it's your bedtime. I don't like my bedtime. You don't like your bedtime? I want to go to bed when you go to bed, Mommy. I never thought of that. Cassie, I have an idea. At your bedtime, you go into your room, but you don't have to go to bed until you're ready. Why do I go to my room? In the evening, after you go to bed, I get some me time. When you're around, I don't get that. What's me time? It's time when I can just do what I want, things that I enjoy doing, and I don't have to think about what anyone else wants me to do. Sometimes I read, sometimes I exercise or do yoga, or I text my friends or take a long bath. Sometimes I meditate or go on the computer or write. I do lots of different things. Shall we think of more ideas? We have 2. I want to stay up and have me time too. Okay, that's an idea. You stay up and have me time too. Mommy, I could go to bed at my bedtime if I could go to sleep in your bed. That's an interesting idea. Also, I could show you how to use the timer and you could set it for your bedtime. So I don't have to tell you when it's your bedtime. You could tell me that it's your bedtime and it's time for me to help you get ready for bed. I like that idea, Mommy. I like all our ideas, except I have to go into my room. We won't use that idea. Maybe we could do all of our ideas on different nights. Sometimes you stay up and we both have me time. Sometimes you go to bed at your bedtime and go to sleep in my bed. And you show me how to use the timer. And sometimes I tell you when it's time to help me get ready for bed. I think we solved both our problems. Which one do you want to use tonight? Show me how to use the timer. Sure, I'll show you, Cassie. Shall we decide that we agree which of our ideas we're going to use? Like tomorrow, we might want to use the same idea or a different one. Yes, and maybe we can think of other ideas too. I'm sure we can, Cassie. Let's have another meeting next week so we can tell each other how this is working for us. Yes, this was fun. I'll put it in my phone. Now I'm going to start the laundry. Are you going to work on your puzzle? I want to help with the laundry. Do you want help to put the puzzle away? No, I want to do the puzzle after the laundry. Okay, let's go. Okay, that was one option of a possible harmonious solution. And here's another one. It starts the same. They all start the same. So I'm going to skip this. Okay. All right, now this time when the mom asks, Cassie, I'm having a problem and I need your help to solve it. Will you help me now? Cassie says, I want to finish this puzzle first. Sure, Cassie. Let me know when you're done. As you are taking advantage of your time to relax, you remember a couple of days ago when you told Cassie of the online class you're taking to increase harmony in your home. That morning, you were reading through your first class. Actually, you were reading along with the online audio. The day before, you'd watched the video. You were focusing intently, wanting to absorb as much of this new information as you could. Mommy, my kitties are hiding. Help me find them. Cassie, I'm busy right now. I'll help you later. No, Mommy, I want you to help me now. Maybe they went outside. Cassie, did you open the front door again? Not very much, Mommy, but they're very little and maybe they got out. They're lost. I need your help. All right, Cassie, I can finish this later. Let's go find the kitties. You are doing your best not to give in to your frustration. You think, after all, this class is about increasing harmony in our home, not creating more disharmony. She wasn't interrupting my work to cause problems for me. She just wants my help. In fact, it's a good sign that she told me about the cats, even though she knew that I don't want her to open the front door. I'm going to have to remember to fix it so she can't open it. You see a little orange streak out of the corner of your eye. I saw one of the kittens, Cassie. She dashed out of your room. I found them, Mommy. They're drinking the milk I poured for them. Great. Is there anything else you need, Cassie? I'd really like to get back to what I was doing. Later that day, after dinner, Cassie, remember I was working on the computer when you needed help to find your kittens? I found them. They were drinking milk. Yes, I remember. I want to tell you about the class I'm taking to help us both feel good about the things we do together. It's called Harmony in Your Family and the One Rule. What rule, Mommy? The one rule is agreement. We agree on what we decide, so we both feel good about what we're doing together. I like that. I do too, Cassie. That's why I'm taking this class. I want to learn how we can keep harmony between us. One thing I'm learning is how to solve problems so we both get to feel good. Do you remember that I told you I have a problem I need your help with? I remember. Well, here's my problem, Cassie. When it's time for you to go to bed, I want you to go without asking for more stories or for a drink of water or anything else. When it's your bedtime, I want you to just go to bed. Why? Because it's your bedtime. I don't like my bedtime. You don't like your bedtime? No, I get sad when I say goodnight to my kitties. I want to be with them all the time. You even want your kitties to sleep with you? Yes, Mommy, yes, yes. Well, we could try that. You mean you would feel good about going to bed at your bedtime if your kitties were with you? Yes, yes. We'll start tonight. Tonight at your bedtime, the kitties can go with you. Let's have another meeting next week so we can tell each other how this is working for us. Yes, it's fun to have meetings. I'll put it in my phone. Now I'm going to start the laundry. Do you want to help me? Yes, Mommy. Can I bring the kitties to help too? Sure. Let's all go do the laundry. Okay, there's another version of the same situation and a very different kind of solution. All right. So here's the third one. Probably I could write a whole book full of different possibilities, but anyway, this is what I have so far. Okay, there's the whole story. I'll read this first part again here. You've had a busy Saturday morning, errands with 4-year-old Cassie. You're looking forward to relaxing a little before you start the laundry. You stretch out on the soft, comfortable couch. Suddenly you remember last night, and the night before that, and the night before that, and maybe now is your chance. Maybe you can use the one rule to solve your problem. You know you don't want to go through dealing with Cassie stalling at bedtime again. One more story, Mommy, please. Cassie, I already read 3 extra stories. Or, Mommy, I'm thirsty. I want to get a drink of water after she's already tucked in bed, or even after you think she is asleep. Or, Mommy, please stay until I go to sleep. And you do, and you fall asleep, and there goes your evening. Cassie's doing an animal floor puzzle right there in the living room. You decide to do it. Cassie, I'm having a problem and I need your help to solve it. Let's do it now. I want to finish this puzzle. I really need your help, and now is a good time for me. Why, Mommy? I can't fix my problem until you help me. You can finish your puzzle later while I'm doing the laundry and cleaning the house. Come sit with me here on the couch and let's see if we can solve my problem. Later, Mommy Kay, said Cassie, as she continues to work on her puzzle. You begin to feel a little frustrated because you really want to give this one rule a try. You also really don't want to continue bedtime for Cassie like it's been going. However, relaxing really does sound wonderful since she's not ready to work with you. You decide for now to continue your rest. You'll fit your talk with Cassie in later when she's open to it too. As you are resting, you remember that for younger children like Cassie, the one rule works better if it's their problem you're solving. Since this is your problem, you're glad you decided to wait until she's open to it too. Okay, Cassie, we'll talk about my problem later. Tell me when you're done with your puzzle. Cassie is already deep in concentration. You are in the middle of cleaning the house when Cassie comes to tell you, Mommy, I'm done with the puzzle. Thanks for letting me know, Cassie. Right now I'm finishing cleaning the house. We'll have a talk later, but I want to talk with you before you go to bed tonight. Why, Mommy? Because my problem is about your bedtime. Oh, that's my problem too. Mommy, can I vacuum? Sure, Cassie, that would be great. You have a problem with bedtime too? I want to go to bed when it's dark. I want to see the stars. Do you want to vacuum first or talk about bedtime first? Vacuum. That sounds good. After the house is clean. Cassie, do you remember that I told you I'm taking a class where I'm learning to solve problems so that we both get to feel good? I remember. Well, let's solve both our bedtime problems so we both feel good about them. Shall we, Cassie? Shall we, Cassie? So tell me about your bedtime problem. I want to see the stars. But in the summer, sometimes it doesn't get dark until after 10. That seems too late for you to go to bed. But I want to see the stars. Well, Cassie, maybe we can work this out. Let's have your bedtime be after you get to see the stars. We'll try it for a week. Next week, we'll have another meeting to see if we like the idea. I still need your help about my problem. If you go to bed after you see the stars, I want you to just go straight to bed. Are you reading me a story in my bath? Well, we can do that at your regular bedtime or before you see the stars. What do you want to try, regular bedtime or before you see the stars? Maybe if I tell you about my problem, that will help you decide. I need some me time. In the evening, after you go to bed, I get some me time. When you're around, I don't get that. So I can have my me time after your bath and I read to you, or before your bath and I read to you. Oh, what is me time? It's time when I can just do the things I want, things that I enjoy doing, and I don't have to think about what anyone else wants me to do. Sometimes I read, sometimes I exercise or do yoga, or I text my friends or take a long bath. Sometimes I meditate or I go on the computer or write. I do lots of different things. I want to stay up and have me time too. Well, you can have me time when I do. I want my bath and story before I see the stars. That sounds good. We'll give it a try tonight. Do you want to help me put our clean clothes away? Then we can decide what to make for dinner. Okay, let's take one brief look here. Take this time while it's still at this deal, $1.99 a month to become a member. You get all this stuff. Okay, now it's the end of the share. go to www.happykidsco.org. Org ends with org. Stop the share. Okay, I wish you all a wonderful week using the one rule. Lots of enjoyment. I'm going to stop Facebook Live and